And welcome, FlipClock fans. We got a big old mess going on over here, and this is just something I got into, I guess, because I needed something to keep me out of trouble. What we've got going on is back here. This is the Copal 701 from our last video, and I did whiten it, so it turned out really good, and it's been running great. It's super silent. This happens to be a clock that is coming up in an upcoming video. It's got some good backstory to that, I think. But anyway, what is this? This is a Detson flip clock radio that I saw on Etsy for almost nothing, and there's a reason for that. There were several things going on. The first thing, the motor. If you ever get a hold of a motor and you can turn this, your motor's screwed up. So that was spinning, and what was going on was and I don't know if it was related to the other problem I had here. Did you notice I did that one-handed? Anyway, so this gear here, right where the brass gear comes out, that was cracked. The sleeve there was cracked. And believe it or not, I fixed it with just super glue. I put super glue on there, and it really solidified that. Everything's running good. I had to oil the heck out of the motor, but that's running good now. The other thing, though, this is a lesson in what happens when kids get hold of your flip clock, because somebody got a hold of this thing and evidently torqued the heck out of it. The holdback spring was it was twisted up like a twist tie, and I actually got it straightened out again and to where it would actually work. I was pretty proud of myself until I found out that no matter what I did, the hours weren't flipping. Well, what's going on is this is the gear that would turn the motor, and see that indentation there? That fits into the minutes right there. And this bar, as it's turning the minutes, goes around, comes through here. There's a gear system that will take it down so that this flips once an hour, you know. Well, the hours weren't flipping, and what we found out was the gear, that's the first gear there, the extensions had been snapped off. I looked for them. I thought, well, I'm gluing back on, but it's no go. The other thing was that holdback is really kind of screwy. So I thought, well, what if I've got a parts clock laying around where I can get something similar? And I found it, and you'd be surprised what it turned out to be. Now, when you're doing that, you have to find flips digits that have the same font, because as you can see, clocks come with many different fonts. That's a good example. And actually font sizes. So you'll maybe have a plain font, but a real small size. That's a quirky font, isn't it? That's the Caslon Mini Mod. So you're looking for font, you're looking for the gear system, and I thought I knew what it was, but I was wrong. And I just stumbled upon this. Now, I have boxes and boxes of clocks, and listen, I got into this when you could get a RC6025 that was quote not working. You could get that for like $70. And that's how long I've been doing this. So I've got stashes of clocks. This is a RC1103. Now, this was junk. Someone tried to paint it, and really, I don't know what they were thinking. And it wasn't me, but I pulled out the mechanism. It was just laying there, and it looks like that's what's going to be the match. So you've got the same sort of motor that turns this gear, and it goes through, and it looks like the first gear, it almost looks too big, but that first gear behind that orange thing is what goes in there. And then the digits themselves are the same. You have a drop that only comes from one digit, the 59, and it's got a working spring, I think. Oh no, the spring's screwed up. Well, we can fix that probably, because it's probably, yeah, the basics of the spring is fine. It's just that it needs to be readjusted on the top there to hold that back. Well, anyway, so that's what I'm in the middle of doing. This whole setup here looks like something that artist Todd McLellan would have done. If you haven't seen his stuff, it's pretty amazing. It's been out for a while. I think it's called Things Come Apart. And he totally disassembled a flip clock radio all the way down to the transistors, the capacitors, and did some really interesting stuff with it. So that's what reminds me. That's what this reminds me of. So we're going to see if we can't take that clock and get this Detson back in order. Well, believe it or not, we actually videoed the whole process, but I'm not going to show you that whole process. This involves getting the digits aligned, getting them synced with each other, the hours and the minutes when they drop. Then also getting the alarm selector in place and getting that synced to where it knows what time it is and when to drop. So it's like putting a puzzle together. It's good to take videos before you take stuff apart. I've done this a couple times, so it worked out just fine. So once we get everything together, the radio is working just fine. It's got good sound. That little speaker, especially when the cabinet's together, puts out a lot of good sound. So there it is, the Detson CR-7. The clock actually had several other variants came out. Pi Electronics had a clock that was the same thing. Midland had the same thing, and so did True Tone. So it came out in many different styles and variations, and now we know that you can fix it with a Panasonic RC1103. Well, thanks for taking the time.